2024 has truly been the year of remasters, remakes, and even some reboots. And so for this video, I decided to remaster, redo, remake, rebrand, refurbish, whatever you want to call it, my very first drawing that I did for this year, 2024, to end the year off with a good old reminder of how far I have come this year. And without further ado, let me show you what I did. Skibbly dibbly. All right, let's go. So the first drawing that I did for this year was actually Pontiff Sullivan from Dark Souls 3. He is one of my favorite bosses in that game, and also favorite design bosses in that game. And so I wanted to draw him at the beginning of the year to kick off the new year. Well, old now, but the new year back in those days. Back at the time, it was the new year. So I wanted to kick off the year with a good old feel-good drawing. I want to say the drawing itself took me maybe between 3 and 5 hours. It was like a very quick drawing, and I wasn't super comfortable with an art style at that point. I'm still not, but it was super prevalent at that point because I know I restarted that drawing a lot, and then there's a lot of interesting decisions that I made in the process of creating that drawing. So before I actually started working on the new drawing, I decided to look at my old drawing and kind of analyze it a bit and take notes on it and see what I did and did not like. And so a couple of notes I wrote was that I liked the lighting in it. I thought the lighting was probably the best part about the drawing, like how the sword on the back creates like a rim lighting along his backside, and how the sword in the front becomes like a lighting in the front. One thing that I noticed in this drawing that bothered me a little bit, which is a prevalent thing in a lot of my drawings, is that they always look a little flat. Like no matter how much depth I try to add to them, they always look a little bit flat. And so I was really trying to focus on that in the new drawing to make it more three-dimensional, to make it more of the third-dimensional variety. And hopefully I achieved that. You'll see at the end of this video. But yeah, that was one of my focuses for the new drawing, was to make it not look flat, to have that good lighting, to push a little bit of the contrast and add a little bit more color to it, and really focus on the form of Pontiff and how he is viewed as a three-dimensional object instead of just like a flat drawing. And then I questioned some aspects of the drawing, like is the thin line art good or is it not? And so you might see little glimpses of it here in the video where I'm like testing out some different things with the drawing just to see if it works well or not. Like I know I added some black shading to it. I looked at the drawing in black and white to see how the contrast was. Just little simple things like that, just to really get an idea of what I could fix or adjust for the new drawing. And so after I did the notes, I started working on the new drawing. I tried to do a more actiony, more dynamic and foreshortened kind of pose, because I always believe foreshortening is the best way to translate like 3D and in good form, because you kind of have to have good form when you're doing foreshortening, or else everything just looks like it's like stacked on top of each other. And so you hear my first few sketches, they're like very foreshortened, trying to like come at you and trying to get all up in your face. And I actually like I actually ended up liking the first like detail sketch that I did, so much so that I went that was gonna be the finalized version of the drawing. But then after a while, I wasn't really liking where it was going, and so I decided to basically start over. And I started anew, because one thing about the art process, especially my art process, is that you're gonna start over a couple times. The first time might not always be the best time. Sometimes the first time is just like getting some ideas out on paper, and then all the other times is when those ideas come to life, you know. But I didn't really like the first drawing I did, mainly because I didn't really like the thick line work. I was not a fan of the thick line work. I don't know what pencil I'm using or what brush I'm using to create. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I do. Now that I'm looking at it more, I do know the pencil I'm using. I'm using it's called Pencil R in Clip Studio, but I think it's like in Japanese. And so it's like some Japanese like writing and then like the letter R, but it translates to Pencil R, and it's really just like, it's like the most accurate pencil brush I've ever found on Clip Studio. And I used it for a couple other drawings before, like what's his name from Elden Ring DLC, Midra, yeah, the Resi Flame guy. I used it for dang, who else did I use it for? Oh, my first drawing that I did on this channel, or the first video on the channel, the Remembrance boss combination thing, I used it for that. And I used it for some other things too, but that's all I can think of. But it's a really good pencil, and I like how it feels. But I don't think I like how it looks. I don't think I'm a fan of like the pencil-y look to my drawings. I'm more of an ink boy. I'm an ink boy through and through. Because when I was in college, looking at my old sketchbooks a lot, and just in like general, like from middle school to high school to college, a lot of my old sketchbooks are like primarily ink drawings. And so I think I've always just gravitated towards ink for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, during this drawing, I decided to make the remake of Pontiff's drawing. I decided for him to be in his second phase instead of his first phase, like the first drawing. For those of you who don't know, Pontiff's second phase, he gets a clone of himself, and so that's why there's a second figure in the background. The first sketch, and he gets like black wings and stuff too, like black wooden angel wings, or like shadowy devil wings. Yeah, because Pontiff is far from an angel. let me preface that. That man is no angel. He is no saint. He is a devil, not in disguise. He's fully out. That man is not ashamed of what he's been doing. I'm pretty sure Pontiff, I think I keep hearing that Pontiff is supposed to be the main boss, like the final boss, or like the main villain of Dark Souls 3, but then they changed it like last minute, which if you like read his lore, I'm pretty sure he like the lore of Pontiff, he really feels like a final boss. So it's very surprising that he was like, he's not even like a last boss, he's like a midway boss. Very interesting choice from software, but hey, y'all do you. I don't judge. But I think with this drawing, the first drawing, nothing was bad about it. It's just I wasn't liking how it was coming out. I'm not a fan of these like thick lines and stuff. And then once like the color came out, I wasn't a fan either. I think I don't like thick lines because it just reminds me of like cartoons. Like it just looks cartoony to me for some reason. I don't know why. Not that there's anything wrong with looking cartoony. In fact, I think the lines give it some kind of depth to it, which is needed in my drawings, but I don't know. For some reason the thick lines just don't do it for me. And they just make it look like really childish and cartoony to me. And so I don't think I've ever been a fan of these like thick lines, which a lot of artists, I feel like it's like a really big staple in art where it's like do thick lines the closer something is to the camera or the audience, because it like creates depth, which I understand. It's just I'm not a fan of it, so I don't like doing it. And then Pontiff is just like a really annoying character to draw. I've realized that as I've drawn as this is my third time drawing him. First time being the drawing I showed you at the beginning. This is the second time, and then the final result is the third time. But drawing Pontiff is so annoying because his design is kind of like he's just a big robe. Like he's just a floating like cloak. Like there's nothing like, it's nothing like for the form to grab onto except his arms. but then his body's just like a big rectangle because it's just like a bathrobe. Like there's nothing for me to like play around with, you know. And then his he doesn't have a face, and so you can't really draw like good shading on his face. He has like a weird mask thing on his face. And then his helmet, or not his helmet, his crown. Oh my god, his crown is like the most annoying thing to draw ever. Like who decided that his crown should be like a weird, obscure, avant-garde tree looking crown thing? Like no, I'm gonna need y'all to, I mean it looks cool in game, but crafting it and drawing it over and over again, the most annoying thing I've ever had to draw. It's like, it sucks drawing that thing because I can never get it right. No matter how many references I look at and no matter how many times I look at it, I can never get the design right. I hate drawing that thing. But after a while I decided to scrap that drawing and I decided to start over because I wasn't liking how it was going. And with this ends up becoming the final sketch. With this drawing, I decided to go a more angelic approach and more like a divine kind of approach, because Pontiff is a pope. Like I'm pretty sure Pontiff is like, it means pope in like some other, there's like a synonym for pope. And so I wanted to get that holy aspect of it. And also he has like wings, so I wanted to do like an angel, like a dark angel kind of thing. A lot of the things I drew in the sketch do not show up in the actual final render, which is funny. Which they probably should have, because that would have made the drawing a lot better. But yeah, sometimes I forget about things, so it's alright. But yeah, in this render, I'm using a different brush that I was using earlier. I'm using the moon brush, which if you're a fan of the channel, which there's only like 30 of you, but if you've seen one of my other videos, or if you're new and you want to see my other video where I did the Cyberpunk Wukong like mixture fusion drawing thing, I used the moon brush in that drawing as well. And for me, the moon brush is like a almost like no pressure kind of brush. Like no matter how much pressure you push, or like I can put pressure on it without it like changing size, and still like no matter how hard I do it, it still maintains like the same size, which I kind of like because I like it being like super thin all the time. And so I think this drawing definitely helped me out with getting closer to an art style that I like, because I think I'm a huge fan of like the thin lines and very like precise line work. But yeah, I mean, you just see me working. When I got the pose, I didn't really change anything about the pose. Like the pose is like pretty straightforward. Like once I saw references, I was like, oh yeah, that's the pose I want to do. And then for like the robes, I tried to kind of mimic the Baroque art style, or like statue art style of like the Renaissance era. The Baroque style was like the only thing I remember from art history when I was in college, and I really loved the sharp look of the clothes against the smoothness of the skin. So I tried to copy that into the drawing for Pontiff by making, since he's mostly robes, I wanted to make his robes very sharp, and then the very little skin that you see of him, I wanted to make it a little smooth to have that little that Baroque contrast. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, I wanted to copy that. I don't know if I did it well, but I think in some places it looks fine. But then once I add the color and the lighting, it kind of some of it kind of disappears, which is unfortunate, but yeah, these things happen. But yeah, all in all, I think this drawing took me around the same amount of time that the first drawing took me, which is like 5 hours. So I'm glad I stayed within the same time frame as the original drawing, because I feel like it would have been unfair if I spent more time on the remaster than I did on the original drawing. Because in reality, this was all just to see how far I came within a year. And honestly, I don't I mean, I think I came far enough. I think with a lot of the drawings I did this year, I learned a lot about myself and what I like. I know for sure that I really like the black like shading blocking thing. I don't know what to call it, but I really like black. I like black blocking. That's what I'm gonna start calling it, black blocking. Where it's like that black shading look, like kind of like some comic book stuff. I really love that, but I'm not good at it yet, and so that's why whenever I do it, I don't like it. But I think the more I practice it, the better I'll be at it. But I really love doing that. I've done it a few times this year, but it just didn't turn out as good as I hoped. But I just gotta keep trying at it. And then I really like thin line art. Thin line art is definitely my thing. I keep trying to not copy, I guess like learn from these artists that I like that use like this thick outline for the characters. Like I know this one artist that I love, Levinky. Their art is like really painted, but then they always have like a thick outline for their characters. And then a lot of other people do that too, and I've done that before in my past drawings, but I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's a good thing for me. I don't know why. It just doesn't fit for me. And so yeah, I probably won't end up doing that, or I probably won't end up carrying that over to my art in the future. But yeah, I was pretty proud of the lighting work that I did on Pontiff. As usual, I do a multiply layer to make everything dark, and then I add lighting afterwards. But something new I've been trying to do is instead of erasing the shadows to create highlights like how I normally used to do, in this one I decided to make everything dark and then add I think it was a color dodge or like a glow dodge layer to add kind of like a highlight. That doesn't make any sense. To add a colored highlight instead of just like erasing, and it kind of like glows and like it reacts. It's a different color reacting to hey, I can't talk today. It's a different color depending on what like part of the body that the color lays on, because like you see how it's more vibrant and saturated on his dark skin versus the light of the robes. And so depending on the color that the color dodge or glow dodge layer lands on, it depicts on how saturated and how bright it is or how dark it is. And so I kind of like that. I kind of like playing with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it up in the future though. I need like a different kind of layer to work with that, but I think it went okay for this drawing. But yeah, all in all, I think this drawing did pretty all right. If I could change something about it, I would probably add the black blocking shading. It's kind of funny how I didn't add it at all in this drawing, even though I just talked about how I really like it. But yeah, in the future I'll probably add that, and probably take like I probably replace the black blocking with I replaced that third shading layer like around where his like legs and like middle torso is. I probably replaced that with the black blocking, instead of it being like a third shading layer. That probably would have looked better for me. But yeah, nothing really to say about this drawing. There's no like hiccups at all. Everything went pretty smooth, which I think is a testament to how comfortable I'm getting with my art lately. It's how the workflow is getting smoother, and there's barely any there's not as many hiccups as before. I think that's a real testament, or as a real identifier of my comfortability. I don't know if I said that right. With how my art goes and like my art style and process and stuff. So the more I draw, the more everything becomes a little seamless and more natural. And soon I'll be busting out masterpieces every in like within like 2 hours, and then I'll be like those Instagram artists that like have a masterpiece every day and like posting like 3 dope ass drawings like 3 times a day. It's like, damn, where do y'all find the time to do that? It's crazy. But yeah. This drawing went pretty smooth. Again, it took me about 5 hours. Just like the original drawing, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Is it the best? Is it the best result? No, but that's okay. We're not always trying to shoot for the best. We're just trying to shoot for what makes us happy. And does this drawing make me happy? Yeah, it does. I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out. My favorite part about this drawing is probably the face. I think I did the face pretty good. It doesn't even read Ponted to me. It looks so different than like how I would normally imagine Ponce's face, because Ponce's face to me, or how I imagine it, is like a flat surface and then it's like markings on it, like markings of like the random swirls and stuff on it. But then with this drawing, the new one, it kind of looks like a fabric over his face, and it's been like stretched out in different ways, instead of it just being, so it's like more 3-dimensional instead of it just being like markings on his face. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it did. But yeah. I think I did pretty alright with this drawing. I think I did pretty alright. But let me know if you think I did pretty alright, or even better than alright, or worse than alright. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any ideas that you would like to see me do, let me know. And who knows, I might just do them, or I might just forget and remember like 6 months later and post a video 6 months later, because my upload schedule has been crazy this year. But I know 2025 I'll make it better. I'm calling it now. I'm gonna try to do at least 1 video every month. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to last year's and the year before that, it's a lot, trust me. But I'm gonna try to get this channel back up and running. Try to get the old I was gonna say steam horse, but that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna get the old steam horse running. Yeah. Hopefully in the future I get some more likes, some subscribes, some appreciation, and start building a community, because I really like doing this. I like making these videos. They're fun to me. I like talking about my art. I like talking about what I enjoy. You can probably hear it in my voice, but I've been sick this entire recording, so that's why it's been a little delayed. And also I'm a procrastinator, so that's also a reason for the delay. I'll try to get this out before the new year. Hopefully I can. Speaking of New Year, Happy New Year to all of you. Happy holidays. Hope your holidays were happy. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you like this video. And while you're down there, go ahead and check out my other videos. And I'm done talking. I feel like I'm rambling now. It's that sick brain. I got that sick brain. Yeah, bye.